Man. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Village Park Village Board to order. Today's February 10th at 7 p.m. Clerk Konecki, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Salella?
Here.
Trustee Kazone?
Here.
Trustee Murphy? Here. Trustee Patrick?
Here.
Trustee Tucker?
Here.
Trustee Wagner?
Here.
President Bolfus?
Here. And we'll all rise for the pledge, and Graham is going to lead us off in the pledge tonight. So, whenever you're ready, Graham. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a short prayer from Trustee Wagner, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, the first order on the agenda is public comments on agenda item. If anyone has any comments on any item on the agenda, that would be like item 5 through 8H. So, anyone signed up?
No.
Okay, anyone have any comments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move down to amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments to the agenda from the board?
Yes, I'd like to make an amendment. I'd like to scratch 8D from the agenda tonight.
Okay, we have a motion to remove item 8D from the agenda. That's the budget officer appointment. Do we have a second? Trustee Kevin Patrick.
I'll second. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? I'll just make one. The reason why is basically because it's not necessary, because in our village code, I think it's section 2-209, it already designates the village manager as the budget officer, and that ordinance goes back 25 years. So it goes back to 95. So, any other questions? And then we have a roll call to remove item 8D.
Okay, that's Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Any other amendments to the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda for the bill listings for the weeks of January 13th, January 20, January 27th, and February 3rd of 2020 in a total amount of $2,054,977.19. And 5B is the minutes from the village board meeting held on January 13th, 2020. Do you have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kazone,
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
second trustee Cielo. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Okay, and we'll move on now to item 6A, which is the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, increasing the number of Class AA Tavern Unrestricted Liquor License. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Standard Meadery, located at 11A West Park Boulevard, intends to manufacture, sell, and distribute mead, wine, and cider for on-site consumption and package to go. This ordinance will create a Class AA Tavern Unrestricted License for consumption on the premises and sale of alcoholic liquor at retail in original packages. If approved, this will bring the total number of Class AA licenses to 8. This ordinance also restates the total number of liquor licenses for each class. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for a second reading? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Murphy? Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
Not on this, but do we have any idea when they will officially open if we put the license through tonight?
Yeah, it's probably going to be 4 to 5 months.
4 to 5 months?
Yeah, they need to get the license before they get their permit to brew, not brew, but to manufacture. So that's why it's on the agenda now, but it'll be a number of months.
Okay. I just wondered when, if we approve it tonight, how long it would be before they would actually open, 4 to 5 months?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes,
trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Item 6B is the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the fee structure for parking violations in the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Police Department has identified several vehicle owners with multiple unpaid parking tickets. All attempts to collect fines owed to the village have been ignored. Since January of 2019, 17 vehicles have received tickets with current fine amounts totaling in excess of $2,000 each. 5 of those owe in excess of $5,000 each. As the village is experiencing difficulty in collecting overdue fines related to unpaid parking tickets, staff is requesting a change to village code. Village code contains a section to provide for the immobilization of motor vehicles for outstanding unpaid violations. This ordinance updates village code to allow for a fewer number of violations to qualify for immobilization and a revised fee structure. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the second reading? Trustee Ciala?
Yes.
Do I have a second? Trustee Wagner?
Second the motion?
Okay, any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
yes,
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Salella,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Okay, item 7A is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, granting a variance to setbacks for the placement of a shed at 121 East Highland Avenue. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. A petitioner is requesting a variance to place a shed 4 feet from the lot line and 2.5 feet from the principal structure. On January 9th, 2020, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of a variance that would allow for the placement of the shed in the requested location at 121 East Highland Avenue. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Murphy?
Yes, I just have a question. Is anyone aware of any negative feedback from neighbors and such with respect to the placement of that shed?
At the Planning and Zoning Commission, where had already been published in the paper and the neighbors were all notified about the hearing, no one appeared.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
yes,
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. 7B is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a 2-lot commercial subdivision at 225 West Roosevelt Road. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. A petitioner is seeking to subdivide the existing lot at 225 West Roosevelt Road into 2 lots in order to create an outlot at the southeast corner of Roosevelt Road and Michigan Avenue. At its regular meeting held on January 9, 2020, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the subdivision of this property. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kazone?
President, I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll
Trustee
second, Mr.
Patrick?
President.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
I have a question. Does this change the tax write-off if we do this? I mean, you're taking 1 lot and making it 2. Is that going to change the tax
Does it change the
guidelines on
tax
it?
structure?
structure on it?
No, it won't. Just that it shows that then it has 2 separate parcels.
And won't each parcel being taxed then?
Yeah.
Instead
Pardon me?
of a 1 set tax, won't there be 2 tax things set up by the state and
By the county?
by the county then?
There'll be 2 different PIN numbers.
2 different PIN numbers, but doesn't that refer to 2 tax
There'll be 2
Numbers.
tax bills.
bills? Okay.
Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if improved, there'll be 2 full tax bills. so-
Right.
Okay.
Trustee Wagner?
But would you like to add that with the development of the property, there should be more property tax collected.
Correct. Correct. That's the hope.
Yep.
So, anyone else?
Yes.
Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Should it
Trustee
be-
Salello?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Present.
No,
Nope, no.
excuse me, there's a conflict of interest here.
Okay.
For the record, you're abstaining.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm abstaining on that one.
Okay.
Permission of the president.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. The petitioner is here. He's got his plats there that need signatures, but he's looking to close kind of quickly because of the loan thing, but Patrick Grill is absent. I don't know what we could do, Commander Keener, to assist him to have those signed and sealed by Wednesday.
Director Grill hopefully will be in tomorrow, Your Honor.
And then if that's the case, maybe it could even be faster.
Yeah.
And then just notify me when I have to come in to sign them, so, and then we can let you know. Okay. Sure. Well, you have to come up to the, well, if he has a personal conflict that doesn't really, that has a conflict, doesn't really mean anything negative about you. Yes. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Being that Trustee Kazone is abstaining from the vote, does being that he was the one that made the initial motion affect that?
It really doesn't. In the end, it would have been preferred had he not, but there's no absolute rule on it. But thank you for pointing it out for the record.
So we had to vote on that, right?
Yes.
Okay, 7C is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, reducing the required setback between principal buildings and detached garages from 10 feet to 5 feet. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. At its meeting on January 9, 2020, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of a text amendment to Section 6-10-A.5 of Article 6 and Appendix C of the Villa Park zoning ordinance. This amendment would reduce the distance between a principal structure and a detached garage from 10 feet to 5 feet. All other bulk requirements would still be required. This change would likely have little or no effect on surrounding properties. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Wagner?
I'd
Do
like to make that motion.
we have a second? Trustee Ciala? Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Murphy?
My only question would be, do we have any concerns with respect to potential flooding? I always get a little concerned about this concrete and these structures when you got them that close together, but it would be the residents' responsibility, correct?
Yes, there would, well, unfortunately, Patrick Grill's not able to attend tonight, but it would be his responsibility to make sure that there wasn't any flooding on neighboring properties. And if
I'd be
there
worried about
is-
him flooding his primary property.
Well, that's his responsibility too, and his problem. So, but to be honest with you, that didn't really come up in the planning and zoning meeting, but that would be something he'd have to address. So, Trustee Tucker.
If we're amending this for principal structures to the garage, what about the sheds? They're, in their requirement, they're supposed to be 10 feet away from the principal structure and 5 feet away from a garage. If we're changing the amendment for a house that can be pulled up, are they also going to have to amend it for sheds? Because right now, their agreement says a shed has to be 10 feet from the principal structure and 5 feet from a garage.
So,
And on this amendment, you're saying it's okay for between the principal structure and a detached garage to go to 5 feet,
but not a shed.
but not a shed.
That's correct.
But you're pulling out, if you're building a new structure that's gonna extend to that distance, why are we requiring a shed to be 10 feet away then?
Well, if they want to have a shed that's closer, they'll have to have, like the other man did in the other ordinance, they'll have to show a hardship, and they'll have to come and for the Planning and Zoning Commission. We have a number of houses on this issue who have this same issue. The lots are small in certain areas of town, and to save all those people from having to come in with a hardship, well, they would probably be turned down, because it's not really a hardship. So we're trying to be a little more friendly to residents when they're building a garage that they want to have on their property but not attached to the house, because they can't work it out that way. So just trying to avoid some more hearings at the Planning and Zoning Commission for the same issue.
So we're not
But the gra-
talking about a
but
freestanding.
We're not talking about sheds.
We're not talking about something freestanding changing. We're talking about somebody that wants to extend their primary house to that distance, that it can get closer to their detached garage.
Correct, and when they do that, they'll still have to code to all the code with the fire department and the firewalls if necessary and that type of thing. So they'll still have to apply to all that. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Trustee Cielo.
Being that this ordinance may have or may not have impacted other applicants in the past, is there any special consideration to those people who were possibly denied this type of room or home addition?
They can come back and they won't have to come before the Planning and Zoning Commission. That's the point of this.
Oh,
So they can reapply with their building permit.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Cialella.
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Okay, number 8A is a resolution expressing official intent regarding certain capital expenditures for the purchase of vehicles and equipment, including loaders, squad cars, gas monitors, fire hoses, and related equipment, scuba compressor, portable generator, portable air compressors, copiers, AED, chipper cap for a dump truck, and related equipment to be reimbursed from the proceeds from the obligations to be issued by the Village, Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois. Andrew Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. In order to utilize rollover bond proceeds for future capital expenditures, the village board needs to formally declare by the way of this reimbursement resolution of its intent to do so in advance of spending the money. This reimbursement resolution encompasses all budgeted projects within the Capital Projects Fund for 2020. The rollover bonds will be issued in November or December of 2020. This continues our strategy for addressing TIF 3 debt while providing a limited amount of funds for capital purchases, which was developed in 2016. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner, do
I'd like to make that motion.
we have a second?
I'll
Trustee
second.
Murphy? Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
I appreciate your giving us the insight on the TIF thing, but that was like clear as mud. What was happening? My basic question is, do we have a guarantee that those bonds will make the funds that we need that you had structured? The amount? I mean,
Director
if there's-
Wachtel will be glad to answer that question.
We know how much we're going to be able to issue every year with the rollover bonds, and we know how much is going to be applied to the debt service payments. Remember, in 2017, we issued some bonds, we refunded some bonds in the TIF, and the funding source is annual rollover bonds. So we know what those debt service payments are using the rollover bond proceeds. And then the amount that's left over, which we also know that amount, because it can grow by CPI every year. So we know the increment, we know the difference that we will be able to utilize for our capital projects. So what we did this year, and what we will continue to do, is this reimbursement resolution, which in effect says the village board declares that we are going to be utilizing bond proceeds that we will get at the end of the year, but we don't want to wait until November and December to buy all of those things and pay for those things. We want to be able to do that as time goes on, as we need them throughout the year, and then we will reimburse ourselves with those bond proceeds once those bond proceeds are received at the end of the year.
Okay, so we know what
We know,
Yeah,
yes, we do know
fine.
specifically what that will be.
The other question I have is the funding that's basically obligated there. If we made a reservation and we have something else we have to put in that capital fund thing, does that have anything to do with the bonds? I mean, if all of a sudden we need something else to pull out of a capital project, that's not going to make any difference, right?
If we were going to utilize equipment replacement fund money or the bonds, then we would need to come back and restate that. As it is now, we put everything that is currently planned in the budget out of the capital replacement fund, Fund 65, for all of our vehicles and equipment, all of that related spending in that fund is listed and is covered by one of those categories that's listed. If we wanted to do something completely different, we would need to come back and make that declaration as well.
So we'd have to change it. If
We would have to
for
change
some
that.
reason along the line, we had to add something.
Right. This doesn't affect any of our spending with our utility infrastructure or sidewalks or anything like that. That's all separate. This is just Fund 65. This is just our equipment replacement fund, the spending in that particular fund for this year.
Okay, because there was a list of things, so that's why I was curious if something all of a sudden had to be put for the came up.
If there was something
in the
outside
middle
of those
the
categories that we wanted to, we would have to make a choice to not spend the money on the listed equipment.
Okay,
So we would have to, instead of spending on that listed equipment, something else, we would have to make that
we'd
decision.
have to make an adjustment,
Yes.
is what we'd have to do. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Stilella,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes,
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. That passes. And 8B is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the safety initiative and safe driver program for fiscal year the safety incentive and the safe driver program for fiscal year 2020. Manfred Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has had a safety incentive program and safe driver program since 1983. These programs are intended to minimize losses due to job-related accidents and to provide an incentive for employees to practice safely and both individually and collectively. This program was confirmed annually by Village Board resolution. Funding for the programs are budgeted in each department's salary accounts. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Shaw?
A second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I just want clarification. When you say the committee, you have a committee or whatever that decides it, workman's comp cases and extended leave are not part of this board decision?
Janet Gorman, you want to answer that, please?
Actually, we do include, hi, I'm Janet Gorman. We actually do include the workers' comp cases. It's just that we review them. So if we have police or fire who are involved in cases that they had no, it was not their fault. They go into a fire and, a staircase collapses, or they go into chasing somebody and they have a physical altercation. The committee reviews each individual accident or incident and determines what is going to be chargeable against that incentive and what is not. So if, for instance, we have somebody who puts a ladder in the wrong place, that ladder falls and hits somebody, we would consider that to be a chargeable accident. But if they're in a fire scene or if they happen to be, in a physical altercation, we might decide that's a non-chargeable. So each and every accident is reviewed by the committee, and there's representatives from each department on the committee, and we actually meet on a monthly basis. So I think that probably answers your question.
Don't leave that.
I'm not going anywhere, Cheryl.
What else doesn't go across it is if you don't take into account employees that actually get hurt off the job, that are injured but cannot work because of that injury. That doesn't have
That
any
is not
effect in
included.
this.
No, this is just
Okay,
for
this is
on-the-job
only on the
injuries.
job, correct? It
And
doesn't
the-
go against them
correct.
if they get injured and then they have to use whatever it is because it's not
For their sick
considered
time or
workman comp
whatever.
or extended leave or whatever because
Right.
of it.
That is not included, correct. So,
And when you do a verification, you said this committee does a verification of an injury that could not, that was not possibly, counted against the department, you review that on a situation that, as you said, standing the ladder up.
Right.
that
If
in
it was
the wrong
something that was
place-
preventable and we felt it was preventable,
Preventable.
then it would be charged against our record. So if it's not preventable, which obviously some of the jobs that our people are involved with, they can't prevent it. Again, if they're on a fire scene and, for some reason a stairwell breaks or collapses or whatever, it's not something that they could have prevented, then that would not be charged against the record.
And that works with an
So.
outside force that they could have avoided an outside entity getting involved, like you
Right.
mentioned
If there's
the
any
fire and the
possibility,
police
so
and-
again, if there's any possibility that it's a preventable injury, which we do review what is preventable, what is not, and then we determine from there whether or not it gets charged back against this incentive program. The incentive program is really there for two reasons. One, to try and incentivize employees to be more careful on the job. And the second is if they are injured, we want to try and give them an incentive to come back to light duty work. We try to provide that for them so that they can at least not be losing time from work. So that's sort of the
Goal.
gist of it. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, Janet.
Sure.
How did they perform this last year? Because I know a couple years ago, we had a number of
We
injuries. And they
did.
didn't,
We had a really bad year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So if we lose more than 500 days of, in other words, if all departments combined, if there's more than 500 days that are lost in that year, then nobody gets the award. That happened 2 years ago. Now, we've done better in the last few years. This year, we actually only had a couple of accidents that ended up in lost time. Different departments did better because their goals are different. So, for example, administration, if we have even one accident with 1 day lost, then people in that department do not get an incentive because we weight it based on the jobs that they do and the danger of the jobs. So some of the other departments like fire, police, they have a larger number of days that if they're injured, then they still have an opportunity to get their incentive. So, and we use a rolling 5-year period to come up with our incentive, and then every year we try and reduce that number by 25%. So we're always trying to get a better number than what we've had, and our employees do pay attention. So,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes, that passes. And item 8C is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, revising the Village of Villa Park Employee Handbook. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Employment law is continually changing, and while the village complies with the laws as they are revised or amended, some changes must be reflected within the employee handbook. The proposed resolution allows changes to the employee manual that are mandated by the Victims Economic Security and Safety Act, which is Section 3.04 of the handbook, Illinois Service Member Employment and Reemployment Act, Section 3.14 of the handbook, Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act, Section 4.01 of the handbook, and the Illinois Workplace Transparency Act, which is Section 4.02 of the handbook. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Murphy? Okay,
I'll
first.
make that motion.
And do we have a second? Trustee Tucker? Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Wagner?
In the memo, it mentions employees, officers, or commissioners. Are we intending to distribute this to our village commissions as well? Or is it just, we're just trying to be inclusive in the wording?
Manager Keener?
Your Honor, we certainly can distribute it to the commissions. The manual talks about certain things, including sexual harassment, which is something that'll be coming up for the commissions and the elected officials along with the employees. But the manual really is specific to the employees and goes hand in hand with the current bargaining agreements also. Thank you, Your Honor.
I think the answer is basically just to the employees.
Right. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Trustee Tucker.
I have a question. And on these updated sheets, is it possible just to give them the updated sheets with the present employee and only give the new employees the booklet? Or do we really have to print over 240 books? I mean, everybody has the employee manual. Could we not give out a pamphlet with the updates for them to put in their booklets? Do we really have to, every time we have a new ordinance come in, print a new booklet and then hand over 240 books out again?
Well, personally, I would think it'd be safe for the village to give everybody a complete manual every time it's revised, or if we have a new employee comes. To rely on somebody to insert new pages in the book is not, I don't think they would do it. And also, they may have lost their book or something, so that's the way I would interpret it. So, Manager Keener, or Janet, do you want to address that or not?
Okay. First of all, we do this electronically. So we do have electronic copies of this. And we actually have an intranet website that our employees can access, which they'll also be able to access for some of the mandatory sexual harassment training. So we're in the process now of getting that pulled together. And just to clarify on the sexual harassment training, that is something that the commissioners and the board will also be having to get trained on an annual basis. And we do have a program that we've purchased which can be accessed so that they can look at it whenever they are able to. Predominantly, we did that because we have 24/7 employees, and so we wanted to make it as simple as possible for them to be able to access the training. So I think that probably helps to understand when we make these changes that they go into this electronic version, and then that version is reissued to all the employees.
Okay.
To
So
be able
we're
to
not
access
adding
it.
printing costs is what my
Correct.
main thing is.
So-
It's basically, most of it's electronic, so.
Right.
We're not making it a printing cost every time it changes and making a new manual and printing out a new one.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Just point out, see, I was right, everybody gets a new one.
Right.
Then you do, everybody gets a new one then. Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Solello?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Bolkus?
Yes. Okay, that passes. 8D, we've removed from the agenda, so we'll move on to 8E, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Globe Construction of Addison, Illinois, for construction of the 2020 sidewalk program in the amount not to exceed $124,963.63. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The replacement of substandard public sidewalk at various locations throughout the village is proposed as a part of the 2020 sidewalk program. The village previously awarded a contract to Globe Construction for its 2018 and 2019 sidewalk program on the basis that Globe was the lowest bidder for a competitive joint bidding process held by the Village of Woodridge. The terms and conditions of the 2018 competitive joint bid allowed for multiple year extensions to the contract as long as the extensions reflect the same bid prices submitted as a part of the 2018 joint bidding process. Staff recommends approval of the contract with Globe Construction, Inc. of Addison, Illinois for construction of the 2020 sidewalk program in an amount not to exceed $124,963.63. There is $125,000 budgeted for the sidewalk program in calendar year 2020 in account number 64-502-10299 in the Capital Projects Fund. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do I have a second?
I'll
Trustee
second.
Murphy? Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Kazone?
Just a quick question. This was brought up at Coffee with the Board last week, and it's my understanding that we we went from 50,000 last year to 125 this year. Is that correct?
Manager Keener.
In that program?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we added to it. I think we were around $75,000
Okay.
last year, and probably the year before, I think.
Okay, good. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify that.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. I just want to take a minute to point out to the board members, last year, and when we had the program going, I was contacted by a resident in town who wanted to have some more squares of their sidewalk done that weren't being marked. And if that happens, you should encourage them to call Public Works to have their name added to the list and notify the village manager if anybody has a desire to have some extra work done that maybe would be on their own dime rather than on the village's 50/50 program. Because my situation was their sidewalk squares did not qualify for the 50/50 program, but they wanted to make it all look nice and uniform. So refer them to the village to follow through on that. So don't call them, don't call the contractor yourself, because that could be interpreted as you're looking for a quid pro quo. So we don't want that to
Famous
happen.
phrase.
Trustee,
Would they get to enjoy the cost savings associated with what the village pays, even though they're paying entirely on their own for additional squares? Would it be under the same kind of price, or is it something they have to?
Village pays more because it's really-
I can't answer that. what
I'm
the
just
price
wondering
is.
if that would encourage more people to beautify on their own if the cost was relatively.
I would direct them to the Public Works Department, and then they could handle it from there.
Sounds
So,
good.
If it would be the same price, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so we already voted on that, so we'll move on to 8F, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the purchase of a 2020 John Deere 544L four-wheel drive loader through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount not to exceed $205,056.82. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Existing vehicle number 26, a 1993 John Deere 544G loader is scheduled for replacement in the village's calendar year 2020 budget. Authorization is requested to purchase a 2020 John Deere 544L four-wheel drive loader with certain specifications through the Sourcewell Cooperative Contract from West Side Tractor Sales Company, Wakanda, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $205,056.82. Funding would be taken equally from the Equipment Replacement Fund account number 6550202401, Water Supply Fund account number 8550202401, and Wastewater Fund account number 8350202401. Existing vehicle number 26 would be traded in. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner?
To make that motion?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Sella? Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes, that passes, and we'll move to 8G, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving final change order number 1 to the contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, for construction of the 631 East Wildwood Avenue and Rotary Park site improvement for a net deduction in the amount of $139.33.
Wow.
Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, for a project commonly known as the 631 East Wildwood and Rotary Park site improvements. Proposed final change order number 1 consists of the balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. The net amount of this proposed final change order number 1 as a deduction of $139.33 for an adjusted final contract amount of $430,093.05. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
second. Trustee Kazal.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Stalella?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Polfus?
Yes, that passes, and we'll move on to 8H, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the purchase of 3 police squad vehicles through the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative in the total amount of $98,668. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The police department utilized 14 squad vehicles for emergency response and patrol duties. The rotation plan includes the replacement of 3 squad vehicles annually to ensure all squads remain in proper mechanical condition for emergency response and patrol duties. The police department recommends the purchase of 2 2020 Ford utility police interceptors and 1 2020 Chevrolet Silverado crew cab at a total cost of $98,668. Funds have been allocated in the fiscal year 2020 budget to purchase 1 vehicle from the Equipment Replacement Fund, count number 6550202401, in the amount of $32,560, and 2 vehicles will be purchased with funds from the DUI Fund, account number 19502000402, in the amount of $66,108. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone.
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Second, Trustee Ciala. Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Polfus. I passed along an article that I had found, and I apologize for sending it out so late in the day, but it's from Government Fleet Magazine, and it describes how many police forces have hybrid police vehicles. And it kind of lays out how the performance of the vehicle is, in many cases, superior to conventional police vehicles. And then it also describes the savings, estimated savings, about $3,500 per year. The article, it also mentions that the New York City Police Department has 1,800 hybrids in their fleet. So what I'd like to suggest is, or I'd like to make a motion to amend this proposal to include, to have one of the 3 to be a hybrid. And I think that alternate consideration is mentioned in the memo.
Mentioned in the memo.
Well, yeah, at the end of the memo, it has the alternate considerations. It mentions the additional cost for a hybrid
Oh, okay.
is $6,530.
Okay. Well, Trustee Wagner has made a motion. Do we have a second? Trustee
I will second
Patrick? Okay. So, any questions on the motion? Trustee Ciala?
I understand the cost savings on a hybrid, but until the department is equipped to maintain, repair, and evaluate their conditions with the current technology that they use now in the shop, meaning their tools and diagnosis equipment, this is a totally different animal. What costs there applied to the cost savings of the vehicle? Is there really a savings? How much? I mean, there's more to doing a purchase of a vehicle. The vehicle's got to be maintained, and it's got to have staff that's trained and capable of looking at 2 different systems, electrical and gas. With that being said, there's additional costs in training and equipment. So where is the line of savings? Has anyone looked at that?
Do we, I think we have, do we have 1 hybrid on order now?
Yes. You want me to touch on that?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, so Chief Lay and his organization in 2019 ordered 1 hybrid with 2 regular fossil fuel vehicles. So the Ford Motor Company is retooling their production line for these vehicles. And so we have not received our hybrid, and we probably don't expect to receive that until maybe April, March, May, somewhere around there. And after speaking with our fleet manager, he suggested once we receive the hybrid vehicle, we should test it, and they would like to look at it to make sure that they can repair these vehicles and keep them maintained, but not having it in our stock and using it and looking it over and et cetera, we can't evaluate it. And so even this evening's proposals for the 2020, and we probably won't get these until probably 2021. That's how far behind they are. So thank you, Your Honor.
Trustee Patrick.
Thank you, sir. According to the memo, though, it says include the hybrid option on the 2 Ford utility police inceptors for an additional cost of $6,530. So my question is then, where did that number come from? And then is all of these questions, have they been looked at before the person got that number, that dollar amount?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, the cost of that, it comes from the source well. So they've already bid out the cost of the hybrid along with the fossil fuel automobiles. And so you just select one or the other or a mixture, just like we did in 2019. But again, we don't know how that hybrid vehicle will function until we get it into our fleet and drive it around. So, and like I said, we may not get that until March, April, May.
Does that not go for any vehicle, though? Any other vehicle? We don't know how it will operate. I mean, I do believe that these hybrids are better for our environment, and for a cost of $6,530, somebody has already looked into that.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. Well, my first initial answer is, I'm sure a police department has had an opportunity to drive them and save money, et cetera. We're not sure that we can maintain them since we've never had a hybrid, and we don't know how they function.
You know, I don't have any trouble with hybrids, but I sure would like to have one and try it out first. That's where let's see, you can read articles and, they look like they're good, they're working well, but we don't know what the New York City went through with the training and stuff. And so I'd like to be a little cautious, but I think if the one we get works out, then we can look at having, when we buy 3 vehicles, maybe 2 hybrids, maybe all 3 hybrids. So, Trustee Murphy.
Is this a decision that needs to be made tonight, or do we have the flexibility to hold off until we do receive that other vehicle?
Well, even if we receive the other vehicle, it would probably take us a year to really be able to evaluate it fully. Because probably, hopefully, the first number of months it'll be without any problems, or it would go back to the dealer. So, I'd like to be a little cautious, but I definitely think there's a number of areas where we can be more environmentally friendly. This would be one of them, but I'd like to have a little more track record on it myself. Trustee Wagner.
I'm sorry, did you recognize me?
Yes.
I didn't hear you, sorry. Just want to speak to the issue of repairing the vehicle. There's been lots of innovations in the automotive field. And if you go back all the way from going from drum brakes to disc brakes, the addition of air conditioning, all different kinds of additions to the vehicles have come along, and then technicians that have to service them have in turn adapted and gotten training. So hybrids, electric vehicles, are something, are kind of the wave of the future for a variety of reasons, because it saves energy, it's more beneficial to the environment. But having said that, I don't want to force this on staff. I certainly don't want to force this on the police department. I tried to do some research today to find out how many communities have hybrid police vehicles, and I wasn't able to find that information. So I think it's a safe thing to do, but I understand the opposition. Would like to withdraw my motion at this time.
We withdraw the second? Pat?
I have one question before I withdraw. My question, do the purchases, regardless if it's hybrid or not, do the cars come with a warranty?
Yes.
is a manufacturer's warranty, and do we know how long that is?
Yes, if you notice on your weekly reports, you can see that a number of cars go back and forth to the dealer for warranty repair.
So how long would these warranties be for?
On the hybrid or on the regular car?
On the hybrid?
On the hybrid, I have no idea. Do you have any idea? No.
I think it's very similar to the fossil fuel, Your Honor.
So
Which
similar
would be
to the
3 years, 36.
3 years, 36.
So would 3 years not be enough time to find out if this car has any major problems or issues that wouldn't be covered under a warranty?
Chances are it's only the 36 with the police car that's going to hit first. So the 3 years is probably not going to be extended. It's probably going to be the 36 miles that's going to go first on a squad car. So that could be a year, that could be less than a year that they hit it, depending on which car it is. So when you're talking about a squad car, you're not, manufacturer warranties aren't, you know, for mileage on the squad cars, they're done pretty quickly.
Trustee Kazone.
A quick question for Director Gola. You handle the mechanics, right? Have your mechanics looked into working on hybrids yet, or do they have any ideas on the costs of maintenance and training and things like that?
Well, Matt and staff have, past director Jaskelis had a hybrid, so they're a little bit familiar with working on the Public Works hybrid, although the capacity or the use of a police car is a little different. So,
Do they think it's take much to ramp up to do several at a time? You know, if we had 3 or 4 in the fleet, do they think they'd be all right with that?
I think they'll be all right. They're very good staff, so I think they can adjust. But I agree that they'd probably, get a year in and see how it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with that.
Without actually having to work on them, they'll probably have a better idea after a year of maintenance.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Maybe in 2 or 3 years, we'd have all electric.
Yeah. Self-driving.
Question.
Yeah, that's right. Self-chasing, so.
Self-chasing.
Trustee Ciala.
Just switching gears over back to the 3 vehicles being purchased. 2 are going to be interceptors, I understand. Is the 2020 Silverado crew cab going to be?
First off, we can get to that. But first off, we're talking about the
motion to
motion
amend.
to amend, which was drawn, and then we were back to Trustee Patrick to withdraw his second. So
Has he done that?
if he doesn't want to do that, he could make another motion.
Mr. President, I would like to withdraw my motion.
Okay, now we're back to the original. So now Trustee Ciala.
So my question was that the 2 interceptors, squad cars, I understand those. The 2020 Silverado, is that going to be used somewhat like for evidence technician type vehicle? Is it I'm taking it
Chief
as...
Lay, if you could answer trustee's questions, please.
Good evening. We're going to use it primarily as a community service officer vehicle for their duties, whether it's barricades, dealing with animals, and so forth.
So it's a crew cab with a pickup bed?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I got.
Chief,
Yes, go ahead.
Chief, if you may, could you tell me about what your thoughts or opinions are on hybrid vehicles in the police world?
I wish I had more information. We did look around for some of the other communities around us. I have talked with Matt, the fleet foreman, and he hasn't been able to talk to anybody that actually has them in use, or if they're in use, they're very limited time to get any data on those.
Okay, thank you.
So we really don't have anything to go on other than some of the articles in the bigger departments.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Tucker.
By switching over to the pickup or the crew cab, you're taking 1 squad car out of your force then, if I'm understanding you correctly, because you said 14. If you remove one of your squad cars to make it the Silverado pickup, then we're taking 1 squad car out of your force.
Traditionally, what we have done is when the squad cars pretty much end their useful life for patrol or pursuit duties, we move those on to the community service officers. So they're usually older cars, they're high mileage. In this case, it's going to be the first time we're actually purchasing a new vehicle that would be used primarily for the community service officers.
So the community, the squad car that was actually the community, didn't have lights or anything else, so we're not actually taking a patrol car out of the force. on
But
doing it.
we're
Except
just
for the
rotating a
ones that
different
you do.
car. It's still gonna have the lights and emergency equipment on it. But it's
On
gonna be
that
used primarily.
pickup also?
Correct.
Okay. So the pickup's actually gonna be equipped with the same equipment, squad car would be than your.
Just like they are now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Trustee Murphy.
I'd just like to make a comment and personally thank Trustee Wagner for all the research that he did and the rest of the team for having already considered these hybrids and for the cautious consideration and moving forward with the fleet in the way that you've made the decision to do so. So I think that's a great thing, and I'd like to thank everyone.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Volpus?
Yes. Okay, with that, that passed, we'll move on to item number 9, which is public comments on non-agenda items. Clerk Konecki, is anyone signed up?
Yes, Graham Black.
Graham
I'd
Black?
like to ask some questions regarding parks and pools.
Hi,
Yeah, Graham, state your name again so the people at home can hear it.
I'm Graham Black. I'm just asking questions for like a merit badge I'm doing.
Okay.
So, this on the pools. So, we had Lufkin close a while ago, right? So I saw on the website that they might be like both closing down. Is that still true?
No, that isn't, has not been decided.
Okay.
Even though the other pool is old and is in need of some repairs, but that will remain open.
Okay. Is anything going on with like making another pool at the moment, or is it like?
At this time, there's nothing we can really say that's in process. We did a community survey on what the community wanted, but no decision has been made at that point about opening another pool.
Okay. So really, nothing's been decided on anything.
Nothing yet, no.
Okay, that's pretty much it then.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thanks for coming up. So. Okay, give you credit. It takes a lot of courage. So, good job. Okay, anybody, well, is anyone else signed up?
No, I have
Okay.
no.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments on a non-agenda item? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to the clerk's report.
I have no report tonight.
No report. We'll move to the trustees' report. We'll start on the right with trustee Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. I have just a couple of things really quick. First of all, the Villa Park Cable Commission is looking for volunteers, mostly to help create some content, whether you have an idea for a regular program or show or just a special. If that's something that interests you, is video production, please see me, contact me directly, and we can definitely talk. Second of all, February 15th at 8:30 in the morning at Fenton High School in Bensonville, the Villa Park Masonic Lodge has sponsored Willowbrook High School in the Academic Bowl. The Masonic Academic Bowl has been going on for quite some time now, and they've sponsored Willowbrook High School in the past. So if you want to see Willowbrook's academic team compete, they are, again, at Fenton High School on February 15th at 8:30, and it is the Masonic Academic Bowl. So on a personal note, just wanted to reach out to the Villa Park Masonic Lodge and thank you for sponsoring our high school here in town for their academic bowl, academic team. And lastly, I want to reach back out to Graham Black. Thank you. It does take guts getting up there and talking. So good job. How far away are you from the merit badge? Was this it? A couple more? Okay. Well, good job. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I just have one question. Do you want the people to contact you about serving on the commission? What method would you like?
Sure. Email or phone number. My phone number, it's out there anyways. My personal phone number is 630-336-5688. 6544. Answer sometimes, but feel free to call me, leave a message, or you could email me at trusteepatrick@invillapark.com.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Ciala?
Real quick, I'd just like to thank and welcome any new residents who ventured into living into Villa Park. I've noticed a lot of new homes up for sale and a lot of them sold. So obviously we have new residents, and I'd like to welcome and let them know that we're here to help them. Any questions? Either online or come visit us at a board meeting. That's all.
Thank you. Trustee Kazone?
No report tonight.
Trustee Murphy?
No report tonight.
Trustee Tucker?
First of all, there's a Park and Rec Commission meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock at Iowa. And just a punt for that too, most of the commissions on this board do need new members. They're shorter members. The Park and Rec Commission board is short of members also, so if you would be interested to do that, please put an application in to President Bolfus to get our commissions filled, actually, would be greatly appreciated. The other thing is those that did not get an opportunity to hear the concert at the Community Congregational Church, there's another concert that's going to take place March 6th at 7 p.m. There'll be more information as it gets closer to that time frame, but put that on your calendar. They love to have all the residents come join them, and people of the town, they love seeing new people. There's food afterwards. There's always food. So come to the concerts. There's always food afterwards when you go to a church event. Other than that, I just want to remind everybody on Monday, a lot of the kids are off, so please pay attention as you're driving through town. There'll be a lot more bikes and cars out, so please be alert to that. And I wish all our residents a happy Valentine's Day on the 14th. Please enjoy that moment to show your loved ones you care.
Okay, Trustee Wagner?
Thank you, President Bolfus. I just had a couple things. I did notice that Scout Troop 199 will be having their annual spaghetti dinner at St. Alexander's from, this is Sunday, February 16th, from noon to 6 p.m. Would also like to let folks know that the library is, the Villa Park Library is continuing with their Decisions 2020 program. Very interesting discussion. There's material you can pick up at the CERC desk. It doesn't cost anything. The next discussion will be on Monday, February 17th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And the discussion will be the relationship between India and Pakistan. So it's global issues that they're discussing. So it's very interesting. Also want to let the board know that I attended the library's annual meeting on January 22nd, which took place before their regular monthly meeting. And congratulations to President Pat Hubbard. She was re-elected as library board president. And also want to recognize Lydia Hodges. She was a longtime resident. She served on the school board, served on the library board, and she moved out of town. So congratulations to Deborah Canali, who was selected as library trustee to fill her unexpired term. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just have one thing. Just want to remind everybody that the census is coming up in April. Please take the time to fill it out. You can fill it out this year over the internet, or you can do it by paper. So there's a number of different options, but it's important that we get a good count for Villa Park, because that means more federal dollars for Villa Park. So, and for our school districts. So we all need that count to be good for planning in the future. So please, when you get the form or get the notification to fill out the form, please do it. If you don't, there'll be someone coming to knocking on your door, probably somewhere along the line. And, but please, it means a lot to your local community and schools and, you know, for sewer project, road projects, and all different kinds of grant money. So a lot of it's based on population and income levels and stuff like that. So the next meeting of our village board will be on Monday, February 24th, right here at 7 o'clock. And that's all I have. We'll just go down to the manager's report to see if he has anything.
Well, thank you, Honor. Chief Legg would like to discuss quickly the polar plunge.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to first start off and let everybody know that last Friday, I think it was last Friday, we had a few of our officers go down to Bloomington Normal for the annual kickoff event for the Special Olympics Torch Run events for the year. And this year they were presented with a plaque that shows over the last year they raised over $9,000 with the events that we participated in. So we're going to start that off again this year on February 29th. We have the Polar Plunge. It's taking place at 1 o'clock at the Oak Brook Bath and Tennis Club. And so far we have 17 team members signed up for it and have raised over $3,200. And we're hoping to surpass what we did last year for that plunge. We did $5,170. So if any of you would like to join us, more than welcome to do that. Or if you would like to support us in any other ways, people can get to the link on the Villa Park Police Facebook page. So thank you for your time and look forward to your support.
Great. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for your donations there. So I appreciate it.
And I just have one more item, Your Honor. So this Thursday night, there is a zoning and planning commission meeting. Was originally canceled, but they want to use this Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. To review a pre-application for the PUD for Fuel and Crumb, which is located at 324 East Central Boulevard. So that'll be happening this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Thank you, Your Honor.
It'll be a good opportunity for anybody who wants to have any comments on what he plans on doing over there at Fuels and Crumb to right here. It'll be right here at 7:30, right?
Yes.
So, okay. All right, with that, entertain a motion to adjourn. Trustee Wagner?
You make a motion?
Do I have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay, we're adjourned. Be back on the 24th.